we talk a lot about how when Scream movies are at their best, they're really scary, but they're never cruel. And it's a sort of hard distinction to make because of course Ghostface is really cruel and does terrible things, but it's those moments where the characters kind of pop through that noise and brutality, we think, that gives it that texture that reminds you that you're in a movie and you're having a great time despite how terrible and horrible what's playing out on screen is.
Hi, Matt and Tyler. How are you guys doing?
Hey, how's it going?
Pretty good. How about you?
We are great. Yeah, we're so great. Thank you so much for sharing your time with us today on the Movie Podcast. We are such huge fans of your work, and we absolutely love this movie. Love it to death.
Yeah, we have not stopped thinking about it since watching it. We absolutely adore it. So we're so happy that it's finally out for us to keep watching and obsessing over at home now.
Oh man, that means so much. Thanks.
I just want to cool
you. It can be rewatched. It's always a goal.
That's what I'm just curious. You guys are cool to talk spoilers today. We were going to give our audience plenty of warning. That's cool. This must be nice for you guys to finally be able to just not hold anything back, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
The opening sequence in this movie, we found it so interesting and unique, and it's easily our favorite out of all the films. What was the process behind immediately kind of revealing that Ghostface killer? Because that moment, right when you kind of pause on the face, I was like, are they going to show who the face is? And you did. And I'm wondering, what was the process behind that?
I mean, it's the first big twist in the movie, right? And we had the same experience reading the script for the first time that we hope people have watching it. That moment of, wait a minute, this is familiar, but it's done the opposite of what I expect it to do. And I think that, I think one of the things that we really wanted to aim for there is achieving something that, if you're a fan of the Scream movies and the formula, that you automatically as an audience member know that something is off in that moment. But also if you're not familiar, the sort of strangeness of living in the aftermath of something, when typically the trope of these movies is that you cut away, right? You cut away from that moment and you move the story forward. And we just really loved the moment of holding on that character, just breathing and kind of coming down from the high of that act in as real time as possible. We loved that as a flavor that you haven't really seen in these movies before. And then of course the sort of following moments after the mask is taken off. I think one of the things that was so exciting to us in the script was this idea that, wait, are we following the killer? Is this whole movie gonna take us through the story in a different point of view? And then sort of the fun of, how long can we live in that lie? How long can we live in that weird sort of truth of what the movie is before we get to flip it on its head again? And I think that it's just such a high bar, the opening of a Scream movie, right? It's a movie within the movie. And obviously I think we covet all of those openings in the franchise to such a significant degree. I mean, the bar is so high, and that on the page, this opening on the page it was such a thrilling read.
Yeah, it really was. And I think just already just subverting our expectations is one thing, but also setting this one in New York. And, we were just talking with James, with Guy, and, and why they wanted to. They're the worst, right?
God, delete that interview.
I guess just shaking things up and taking things to New York. Was there something that you guys were able to do in this film that you wanted to do last time when you did Scream in 2021? What was it like for you guys to be able to take the reins and do something new with taking it to New York, but hopefully doing something that you haven't done before?
I think two of the big things that are kind of like parallel paths that we were able to do in this movie that we hadn't been able to do in Scream 5 for a myriad of reasons. One was the characters. We got to really just focus on, the core four and really kind of build out those characters in a way so they hopefully become fully formed characters that people love and don't want to see die. And, watching that come to life was so exciting. The other thing was, other end of the movie thing was these giant set pieces. In Scream 5, partially because of the way we were shooting and with COVID and everything, it was like the set pieces had to be designed to what we had, which was a really fun process. I think one of our favorite things that we've done is when Dylan Wes Hicks gets killed, and it's just like a slow walk, and you're like, how long are they going to make me sit in this? And how many doors is it going to open?
Oh my God.
And that was really fun. And that was like, yeah, that's just, filling in a house and like nothing else. And so you're like, that's fun. We can do that. And then in this one, we were like, but what if there were hundreds of people on a subway dressed up like Ghostface, So it's like, this is the other end of that. And, a good example is like the ladder sequence. We read it. It was basically, same idea. And then we went through a million things in pre-production to kind of change it and make it more shootable. And at the end of the day, we were like, or we could just do the ladder. Like that felt pretty great. Let's do that. And so we just reverted at the last minute, and it's, become one of our favorite sequences. But yeah, these big set pieces, and then also the characters. I think those are the two things we really got to focus on in this.
Speaking of that ladder sequence, we've had the pleasure of speaking with Devin Dakota a few times on this show. We absolutely love her.
Yeah.
Fellow
She's
Canadian.
So
Devin,
absolutely.
Yeah.
So we're wondering.
You guys gave her a pretty gruesome death. That was would you hate Canadians, by the way? Just want to clear that up.
Killed a lot of Canadians, unfortunately. We love them dearly. By the way, our editor, very much alive, also a Canadian.
Oh, it's good. Good that he's alive. That's good that he's alive.
That's good.
Yeah.
But yeah, what a sequence. I was wondering, can you guys, like, when you're planning a sequence like that, and I guess with a series like Scream, where there's a lot of laughs to be had, but there's a lot of serious, and I think this one especially, there's some of the most I think this Ghostface is the most brutal Ghostface that we've seen in the series so far. How do you balance, having a Ghostface that could do these kills, but also like have a motive that you could hopefully or maybe try and reason with towards the end of the film when all is revealed?
I think that the sort of thing that we try to achieve, and I think it's a little bit in our muscle memory because of the Scream movies, is these sequences are always so effective. And I think it's kind of what Scream has always done really well, is the stacking of obstacles. And that ladder sequence in particular was one that felt like maybe the most in this movie has that sort of DNA in it, that it's an apartment attack, and then it's getting locked in a bedroom, and then it's, oh shit, the Jack and Jill bathroom door is open, gotta close that. Ghostface has another entrance, and then you're up high and the ladder, and then the kicking down of the door, and I mean all of those things sort of escalating on
and the
top
trash
of
can.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Special guest.
Yes, exactly, featuring the special appearance by the dumpster. But I think that the stacking of obstacles was something that was just really, really thrilling and very New York specific, right? That set piece in particular, we wanted to make sure that those moments felt like they really belonged in New York, right? That was a flavor that was very specific to the location of the movie. And then I think once you've dialed the kind of brutality and the tension up, it's a lot easier to kind of release it with those character moments, the say something more positive that
It's so good.
Like that immediately, it still feels very much in the energy of the scene, but it's this little moment of humanity that just reminds you, like, no guys, like we're in a bit of a heightened reality, like we're in a Scream movie. And those ingredients are super important for us and to us. I think that we talk a lot about how when Scream movies are at their best, they're really scary, but they're never cruel. And it's a sort of hard distinction to make, because of course Ghostface is really cruel and does terrible things, but it's those moments where the characters kind of pop through that noise and brutality, we think, that gives it that texture that reminds you that you're in a movie and you're having a great time, despite how terrible and horrible what's playing out on screen is.
We'd love to see you guys come back for Scream 7, and obviously you've been behind it. Are there any actors or actresses you'd love to kind of see down the road come back or be brand new to the series?
Will we get Samara back? Samara would be great. She only got 2 minutes.
I know, that'd be awesome.
Out of nowhere.
How many times? 8 times? She's fine.
Yeah.
Get right back up.
I recover from that.
How long did we actually see her dead there? I don't think that.
Right.
Paramedics were around the corner. Don't worry.
Yeah, it's New York. It happens all the time.
I'm joking, but I'm not. I think we could spend hours talking about the actors we'd love to work with and the characters. We joke all the time that there's a little Parker Posey shout out in this movie. I don't know if
Yeah.
that's one that people haven't really caught. It's on the marquee.
The retrospective.
But yeah, I mean, there's a lot, but one of our favorite things about Scream is this, it's the heightened reality that Tyler was just talking about. Like
Heather Matarazzo, we love her so much. It was such a short amount of time we got to spend with her on 5, and it just wasn't enough. We've gotten to know her a little bit, of course, off, post the release of that movie, and she's just the best.
She came into that scene, was like, knocked it out of the park. It was like, and I'm leaving. We were like, wow, you just all the way out here, did that one scene. Casting perfect.
I love that.
Amazing. Well, again, guys, thank you so much for taking your time with us today. I do want to say that the double knife swipe scene in this movie, by the way, sent us just running through the theaters. One of the coolest moments in the Scream franchise. So thank you so much for that. And thank you so much for taking your time with us today as well.
Thank you. Really appreciate it.
Pleasure.
Tell Devin hi next time you have her on.
We will.
Definitely.
Take care.
Bye. James, Guy, how are you both doing?
Good. So nice to
Really good.
Daniel, I don't want to alarm you. There's someone to your left.
Oh, my goodness. Okay,
I'm just the looks. That's
That's it.
yeah.
To bring the sex appeal. I get it.
Yeah. Exactly.
Guys, congratulations on everything that you've done with Scream and this year, last year. Like, it's as Scream fans, we've been eating well the last
Screaming
couple.
well. Yeah.
Yeah, I've been screaming well. Yeah. So it's wonderful that we're finally able to watch this at home. I hope you're okay. We'll have plenty of warning when this episode goes live that we could talk spoilers with you guys.
Yeah.
Because how could we not at this point?
At this point, yeah.
How could we not? I got to ask both of you. You worked on Scream from last year, and now you're coming back to work on Scream 6. Was there something that you weren't able to do on last year's Scream that you really wanted to make sure happened this year with Scream 6?
I think the first thing that comes to mind is Kirby, because we the first thing we did when we got this gig was sit down together and watch the first 4 movies, and we made kind of wish lists as fans, like what would we like to see in the next Scream movie, and if there's only one more Scream movie in existence, what should it be? What would make us happy as fans? And we loved Hayden, and we loved the character Kirby, and so that was high on the list. And it was just an overstuffed movie as it was. We had a lot of moving parts, a lot of different storylines and characters to follow it, so it just didn't organically make sense or fit. And then in 6 we were able to do it, so I think that's the main one that comes to mind. Is
We put an Easter egg. There's an Easter egg in 5 that lets you know that she survived 4.
that she survived.
Excellent.
Yep. And yeah.
Were there ever any ideas around, using more famous New York locations? Like, we haven't seen the Statue of Liberty used in the movie in a very, very long time. Like a ghost face chase sequence. Was that ever on the cards?
Ghostbusters 2 is the one that pops into my head.
Yeah, exactly.
It's interesting. We didn't think about really using landmarks as much because we felt it might feel a little cheesy, and I think B, also we wanted it to kind of be the experience you have when you go to New York City, right? Which is most people, it's like, yes, maybe you go to see a landmark, but it's like more often you're going to get to the subway, you're going to go into a restaurant, you're going to go into a bodega, and we wanted it to feel like these commonalities of of life. Where it's like, I remember when I was a kid and would watch horror movies, like Friday the 13th never really got me because I never went to empty cabins in the woods. So my brain was like, oh, cool, I'm safe, right? Because I'm just not going to go to a cabin. But, walking down the street in a city, that's something that, I did fairly frequently. So I think, Guy, correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't know if, we never really, Statue of Liberty, Empire State Building, we kind of didn't,
I don't think so. No, I think we just landed immediately on, subway, tall building, like falling from a great height, bodega, stuff like that, and the college campus stuff. But no, I don't think we ever talked about landmarks in that sense. I mean, we do have the scene with the when Tara and Sam are trying to get Ghostface on the phone to track him. That's supposed to be Central Park.
Central Park.
So I think we did talk about Central Park, and we were able to work that in. And otherwise, I don't think so.
I do appreciate that because there's an authenticity to it, like you're describing, that you're not using the city as a gimmick. It's really there to be a more true to life experience. So when you have all these moments occurring in this movie, you have all these different deaths and all these different ghost faces running around. How do you decide which ghost face is the one doing which killing? I know sometimes it might seem pretty obvious, but sometimes it can kind of go both ways.
It's kind of process of elimination. It's really like, okay, who can it absolutely not be?
Yeah.
And then who's left? So, for example, in the apartment attack, Quinn has to fake her death there, so it can't be her. So that leaves her father, Detective Bailey or Ethan. Oh, this is spoiler. Okay, I got
Yes.
confused there for a second. I was like,
Spoiler,
okay,
go
did I
ahead.
just totally blow something? No. So,
Yeah.
yeah, it could be either, and I think we could make a case for either there. But yeah, I think we just kind of go who makes the most sense, and then a little bit like what is the flavor of this kill,
Yeah.
and whose personality fits that the best, and can we make that gel?
Yeah, it's funny you say what flavor is the kill, because we're as fellow Canadians, we've gotten to speak with Devin Nakota a couple times, and
Oh, cool.
you guys did her pretty dirty in this film. That was a
Oh,
pretty
Horrible.
The first time I was actually on set for a couple of weeks, and the first time I met her, she was wearing the prosthetic, having just her character having just caranged off of the off of the dumpster, and I was like, "Hi, Devin, really sorry about the whole," and she was just like, "It's all good." She was so happy, and
Yeah.
she's wonderful. We love her.
It's funny when you see that balance, because I think there's such a visceral reaction when you see something like that, and no one is safe in these films, but I think when Scream could still be surprising us after all of these years, it's such a testament to the work that you guys are doing. Do you ever feel like you have to one up what you've done before, or do you think this is story first, is it character first for you guys?
I think it's both. I think story first and character first is always kind of the we try and stay just kind of like what's the best thing for this particular story and this particular movie, as opposed to, oh, we're gonna set this up for the, like, we don't do any of that. We're really just about giving you a full meal in the movie. So it's story first, and but also acknowledging that we're huge fans of this franchise even before we got involved in it, and we're making this in our heads for people who are huge fans of the franchise. And going into the 6th installment, how can we kind of weaponize the knowledge of everything that came before that you have as fans and use that to surprise you, right? So doing 3 ghost faces for the first time was definitely something that we were super, super excited about. Having the fall from the great height was something we're super excited, and also I think it's such a credit to Devin, and it's such a credit to these actors who can make you. I mean, I don't know how many minutes that she's on screen in the movie, but it's not a ton, and you care about her, and the death hurts because of that, and it's always so fun because sometimes I hear like, you guys didn't kill enough people. Also, how dare you kill Devin?
Never win.
Wait a minute.
Never win.
But I think we want all of it. We want Scream has always felt like, to me, and one of the reasons I fell in love with it, is a franchise where you get to have your cake and eat it too. Kevin's original movie literally tells you, I'm going to do a magic trick. Here are the rules to the magic trick. I'm going to do the magic trick in front of you, and I'm still going to fool you. And it's amazing. So I think that's the idea of trying to do both, top what came before and just tell a great story, is baked into the DNA of it.
I love it. James, Guy, both of you, thank you so much for this film. We are so excited now to be able to rewatch it all we want at home.
Over and over again.
Yeah. And I hope we get to talk to you, both of you guys, again down the road. Thank you again, and have a great day.
Amazing.
Thank you,
Pleasure, guys.
too.
Thanks so much.